The thing about trauma is that they prevent us from seeing our reality clearly. And this is specifically the case for childhood traumas and things that you went through in the past. It could be from a marriage as well or a divorce. And so, what I call these are the core emotions, the core wounds that all of humanity walks around with, knowingly or unknowingly, that block them from seeing their lives from the highest truth, from the highest potential, from a healed space, from a healthy space where they can make empowered decisions that are authentic for themselves, true for themselves and their life and their dreams. So in this video, I'm specifically talking about abandonment trauma, maybe going in a little bit with unworthiness, but helping you decode some of these wounds that you're dealing with so that you can step into a healthier, more empowered life. All right, so if you don't know me already, my name is Grace Moralia. I specialize in trauma, inner child healing, and subconscious reprogramming. I help my clients release any blocks that keep them from loving themselves, from being free, their most authentic version, from living their soul's purpose, and free from the expectations of others or caring about what other people think, right? So that they can truly feel free in themselves. If you're interested in working with me, I have one more one-on-one space for private coaching. You can book a consultation call below. At any point during this video, please like and subscribe and comment below if this is helpful for you so that I can boost myself in the algorithm, because sometimes YouTube likes me and sometimes they want me to, they don't support me and it's very annoying. So anything helps if you find this supportive, all right? So let's get into it. We're talking about abandonment, right? I think it's helpful to note that abandonment and unworthiness are very closely tied. I've seen so many people from all walks of life, male and female, and it's important to note that everyone has these core wounds. These core wounds, I would like to say, look like abandonment, unworthiness, shame, people pleasing. These are great ones that I see, right? These make up the roots of people's subconscious, depending on where you grew up. So if your parents made you feel unworthy, invalidated your truth, okay, made you feel like your emotions were too much, or any sort of you didn't feel supported in who you were in your emotional space, you are going to develop trauma. And these are the core, think of it like a roots of a tree. These core wounds that you have create the tree of your life and the flowers that you get in your life, the type of partnerships you attract, friendships, jobs, opportunities. So if you want to change what you're creating, you need to look at what your wounds are and how they impacted you and where they came from. So abandonment trauma prevents you from seeing your reality clearly. Why? Because it puts on rose-colored glasses, making you feel like everyone around you is your mom, is your dad, is someone you have to prove yourself to, is someone that might leave. You might not feel that in your entire being, but the thing about trauma healing is there are parts of you, I'm sorry, there's a shadow here. There are parts of you that are dealing with these wounds and are running the show. For example, let's say your father didn't validate your feelings, felt like you were too intense or emotionally chaotic just because you felt things, just because you had needs, which is very, very common in people who I work with, coming to me with fathers who invalidated their feelings and told them they were too much. Why? Because they're emotionally unavailable and they cannot receive you. It's not that you have a problem with you. It's not that you're chaotic. It's that your father, your mother was incapable of meeting your needs because they were never taught how to meet their own needs. They were never taught that their emotions were safe. So they learned how to shut off their emotions. Therefore, any child, anyone that comes in with an emotional, with feelings is going to be seen as too much, and so they shut down. When you are attracting people who are shut down in an emotional space, you're used to being around people who aren't validating you, especially these primary caregivers, you are going to feel like something's wrong with you. You are going to feel like your emotions, you can't access them fully, or that they're not safe to express, and that you might be abandoned if you express these things. You might be abandoned for being who you are, which leads you into a space of needing to prove yourself worthy, proving yourself that it's, that you deserve to be seen, that you can give. Maybe you find yourself people pleasing because of that, or, feeling ashamed of what you actually feel or your truth. So I want you to understand that core wounds that we have, whether that be abandonment, feelings of unworthiness, shame, people pleasing, they are all connected in many ways. Meaning that you could feel like you suffer with unworthiness or people pleasing, but they could be linked to each other. The more that you do deeper inner healing work, get to know yourself, work on your inner child, you'll understand where these wounds came from, how you are seeing your reality, your relationships from rose-colored glasses that does not serve you and keeps you in a space of unregulated emotions, unmet needs, feeling like perhaps you're in a partnership and you have always felt the sense of abandoned by one of your primary caregivers. Because remember, from the ages of 0 to 7 is when you develop your beliefs the most. Your subconscious is picking up on the reality around you and formulating its truth about life. So if you kept hearing you're, being invalidated or being left in your room to cry when you needed loving support, or your mother wasn't there, or whatever the story was for you, that is going to formulate in your consciousness that is the truth of your world. That is the truth of your world. So then you find yourself attracting partners who reflect that truth in different ways. And that feels normal to you to be invalidated, normal to you to be abandoned, to be left in your emotional space. When you find yourself in those relationships, you might find yourself seeking, needing from people, feeling like they will meet your needs, okay? But the truth is, only you can meet your deepest needs. That doesn't mean we don't need people. We need people. But what we really truly need is a sense of self first. You need to see and validate yourself. You need to see and validate your needs that you would receive from a partnership, that you would receive from anyone, and establish that sense of boundaries to where it's like, all right, I know that I can validate myself. Once you can validate yourself, your traumas, what you went through, and really come to that sense of empowerment and inner freedom, which is what I help my clients do in my one-on-one coaching programs to heal their traumas, limiting beliefs, things that they've experienced in the past they need to let go of. Once you get into that space, you'll find self-love, you'll find freedom, and you'll understand that, look, I don't need to carry these glasses anymore. I don't need to accept this treatment. What you really need to do is put up boundaries and say, no, people don't get to treat me this way anymore. Just because you went through it in the past doesn't mean you deserve to go through it again. Doesn't mean you deserve to be invalidated. When you stop gaslighting yourself, right? People will gaslight you, if you don't know what that means, when they tell you, you shouldn't feel that way, or don't worry about that, or that's too much, whatever, if you know what I mean. If you've been through those types of situations, that's gaslighting, because they don't know how it feels to be you. Your feelings are valid because you feel them. So when you develop you will develop a deeper relationship of self-love within your being once you allow yourself to feel what you feel. Once you validate, okay, I do have this fearing abandonment. I do have unmet needs. I have felt really invalidated in my life. That's fine to admit. Yes, that is what you went through. The sooner that you can accept what you went through and see clearly that, you will be able to heal and release it, all right? There are many tools and practices that you can utilize to release these traumas so that you no longer have these fears, that you have now. You need to be able to learn to regulate yourself and understand that your traumas weren't your fault, but it is your responsibility to your inner child to heal yourself, to come back to yourself so that you can live your purpose, so that you can be free, okay? Healing equals freedom. Not everyone is your dad, not everyone is your mom, but you'll find yourself in many situations where you're trying to prove yourself worthy because people were invalidating you over and over again. So that's why you need to learn to come back to yourself, come back to your self-love, no matter how hard it is. And trust me, I know how hard it is. I live this every day, okay? I've been doing inner child trauma healing for almost 10, I can't believe that. What? 9 years? What the heck? That's crazy. On myself, and helping facilitate this for the past 4 years for people just like you. And I know how powerful it is to meet yourself and how hard it is to meet yourself. To really hear and say to yourself, you know what? I do feel this way. I'm going to validate that I feel this way. That's where your personal power is. When you don't feel empowered in your relationships or with your family, lovers, whoever it is in your work, your power is going to be in accepting that you feel that way, finding out where you can put up boundaries with yourself, with them, and choosing how you're going to show up from here. How are you going to show up? Are you going to honor yourself? Are you going to honor what you feel? Are you going to move towards the light of your truth and say, you know what, I'm going to love myself through this. I'm going to teach myself, and I know it can be a big jump to say I'm going to love myself through this. I'm going to teach myself to lean into self-love, to do more things that honor my body, to honor my truth. And you know what? I'm not the voice of my father. I'm not the voice of that lover. I am myself, and I will be happy when I allow my true free self to come forward and shine in this world and share my gifts, because that's what the Creator, God, Spirit wants for you to be who you are, for you to speak your truth. And there are people waiting for you to speak your truth. There are people waiting to hear you. And it's up to you to really allow yourself to come out of those patterns, to come out of that bondage, and to meet yourself time and time again in the fires of love, knowing that you are worthy, you are abundant, you are already. It's time to come home to yourself, your body, your truth, and heal these core wounds that keep you from feeling free and authentic in yourself. I promise you, this is the ticket to freedom. Inner and outer freedom is showing up to the healing work. That is why I'm so passionate about it, and we'll talk about it for the rest of my life. Okay, let me know in the comments this was helpful for you. Please like and subscribe. I have that one more one-on-one coaching spot for the person who's really ready for a transformation in their lives through healing work. And I will teach you how to heal your inner wounds, all your traumas, tools that will change your life when you implement them. And I stand behind that so firmly. If this calls to you, you can book a call with me. I would love to talk with you, see if this would be the right fit for you. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you later.